Joe, let's get right to the bracket. What was the last decision made by the committee?
Putting the last team in the field, which was Tulsa.
Why Tulsa?
It was a really difficult conversation, but they edged out the four other teams because of their top 50 wins, which were four.
All right, so you mentioned they edged out four others. What were those teams?
St. Bonaventure, Monmouth, South Carolina, and Valpo.
So let's go one by one. Why didn't Valpo make it?
Valpo had a good non-conference win, but the strength of their schedule overall was not enough to get them in the field.
What about St. Bonaventure?
A really tough non-conference strength of schedule. The best team they beat in a non-conference was 80 or above.
Why not Monmouth?
Monmouth did exactly what you hoped they would do. 3 out of 4 of the good games that they played, but those 3 losses below the 200 line really hurt.
Why not South Carolina?
Only one win against the top 50.
Why not San Diego State?
San Diego State had a good win against Cal. Also played a good non-conference schedule, but only went 2-3 against the upper teams of their league. Even though they won the regular season title, wasn't enough to get in the field.
And one more, why not St. Mary's?
St. Mary's, again, it was a strength of schedule. We always ask teams to test themselves against the iron. They didn't really have it there. We knew there were some extenuating circumstances. They swept Gonzaga, and those were the 2 top 50 wins they had.
Kansas, it looked like it was the best bracket among the 4. Their number 2 was Villanova, which was thought to be a number 1 maybe a week or so ago. How did you come up with Kansas's South bracket with a Villanova, with Cal and Miami and Maryland and Arizona?
Well, Andy, we don't arbitrarily assemble the teams. We do it through our own bracketing procedures, and we assign the locations based on geography, and the best teams on the seed list get the first preference.
Why did Syracuse get in and as a number 10?
Syracuse had 5 top 50 wins. We were very well aware of the extenuating circumstances, but it wasn't a factor. The wins they had at Duke, very, very important. Had a neutral site win against UConn. Overall, they got the advantage over the teams they were compared against that were remaining on the under consideration board.
Why was Oregon a number 1 seed?
Regular season champs, tourney champs, had the best overall strength of schedule, number 2 in the RPI, 3 wins against Utah, just an outstanding top 25, top 50, top 100 wins, edged them into the top line.
How close was Michigan State to being a number 1 seed?
Very close. They're the 5th overall seed, and it was a vigorous debate. We know how good a team they are. We understand the injury battle they had this year. We know their top 50 wins, their top 100 wins. We know they just won the Big Ten tourney title. Great team, just a close call, and the committee felt like Michigan State would be the 5th overall seed regardless of winning the tourney title.
And Kentucky coach John Calipari said on ESPN on Sunday night that he kind of questioned why the Wildcats were a 4 and A&M, which they just beat earlier in the day in Nashville to win the SEC tournament title, was a 3. What was the justification for that, especially when that game ended, on the day that you guys are building the bracket?
Well, that always makes it tough. But again, through the scrubbing process, Kentucky had some losses against teams that aren't even in the field. And compared as they were through the process of evaluating the teams, the committee felt like A&M deserved their place.
Appreciate it, Joe.
My pleasure, Andy.